Hello guys, Thunderbolt here, and I want to welcome you to this YouTube video. So this will be a new series that I have started recently, trade recaps, which I'll be recording every single week, showing you the trades that I took, the logic behind, and the executions. So these are the trades from the week 5th to 9th of January 2026, which was also the first week, full trading week of 2026. And I will start with DXY, which is the dollar index. And the analysis for the DXY was already done in the last video that I did, which is also another series that I started for weekly outlooks, which I'll be doing every Sunday, and I'll be uploading it in the evening, which will be focusing mainly on the setups that I'm looking at in the course of the week. So I looked at DXY, GU, EU, and gold in the analysis, and this is some of the trade recaps that I took, which I'll be doing, whether win or lose. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So this is DXY on the daily. With DXY, I barely ever go to the 1 hour unless I'm looking at when I'm doing my analysis, especially on the weekend. I usually go to the DXY mainly on the daily, even on the weekdays, because on the 1 hour I use it for entries. While I'm not looking for entries on DXY, I'm mainly using it for bias. So this was DXY, and as you can see, this initially as I was going into the week, my bias was mainly bearish, but I had a very short-term bullish bias for Monday, and my anticipation was to take out this high initially and tap into this or mitigate this daily BC this CB sell side imbalance, and then have a sell side to potentially taking out sell side, this low on the sell side. But what ended up happening, which is exactly the same thing, we took out the high, had a bit of a reaction, almost closed below the range of the previous week on Friday, but we failed. But coming down to Tuesday, took out the low of Monday, and then closed with a really nice expansion candle, which actually prompted me to change my bias to bullish now. So I had a bullish day on Tuesday and Wednesday. So when the market reacted, when the market came back to the sell side imbalance again on Thursday, I was expecting that we might have another reaction to continue bearish, but after closing inside the consequent encroachment of this fair value gap, I expected the fair value gap would actually be violated, and we might have a bullish day on Friday to potentially taking out the buy side, which we didn't exactly reach. But my bias for next week will potentially be to take out the buy side imbalance, the buy side liquidity coming week. Straight to GU. So this is GBP USD on the daily, and this candle that you can see here, that was Tuesday's candle. That was 6th of January. The previous day, 5th of January, this was on a Monday, which the market was extremely bullish. We caught a few trades here, which I did not exactly execute. And my first trade was actually on a Wednesday. So initially, I had a bullish bias on GU, and after taking out this high on Monday, I was expecting more bullish action to potentially taking out this buy side liquidity. But you can see how we closed, took out the high of Monday and closed inside the range. So my bias coming into Wednesday was potentially more bearish price action to take out this low, or potentially taking out this swing low. This is the 1 hour, and based on how I trade, going back to the daily chart, what I want to see is more bearish price action. So I use the fractal model, and what I want to see is the next candle from the week within the first, or within the EQ, below the EQ of the previous daily candle. So which is what exactly happened. If you can use this daily candle over here, this is 50% of the previous candle. That is where I'm looking to trade, which is where I have highlighted using the purple box. So when I come into the next day, I usually want to look at PDRs within the EQ of the previous daily range. And as you can see, we had a fair value gap over here, and we had a really nice high over here, which got swept. We had a bit of a reaction. So as we were having this reaction over here, this small sell, that is where I took my sell. That's where I took my trade, which was a bit early, especially because I was supposed to wait for a change in state somewhere over here, but I was a bit confident about this trade, which is exactly why I executed over here. But as you can see, the market moved against me a bit and swept the high again, which was actually the high of Asia, swept Asia range very slightly, I think with something like a 0.1 pip or something. I had left enough room between my stop loss and that high, so I survived. And then the market actually sold really nicely. We shifted structure over here. We also had a change in state, which actually meant that this high is actually now protected, which is actually the high of the day, as you can see. And we had a really nice sell to hit our TP. So that was the first trade on Wednesday, which was actually a win. Euro USD, this was the next pair that we actually executed, Euro USD, and this is Tuesday's candle as well. This is also Tuesday's candle. You can see the way it closed. This was Monday's candle. We had a really nice bullish momentum. So coming into Tuesday, I was also expecting the market to open low and close high. So an open, low, high close candle, especially because of this rejection, this reversal candlestick. And you can see we are also coming from a daily fair value gap, a bullish fair value gap, a BC. So I was pretty confident that the market would actually proceed higher, especially to take out this buy side liquidity, which is not exactly what happened. So when the next day the market opened, we saw the market open higher, which is less ideal for what I'd actually want. I'd want the market to open lower so that we can, that is, manipulate lower, and then we can expand higher. So the market manipulated higher and then started to move lower. So I did not trade on Tuesday because that is not what I want to see. So when the market closed, after taking out the high of the previous day, which was Monday, and closing a bit bearish, my bias changed, and now I was looking for sells, potentially to take out this low over here. And you can see this forms something sort of like a swing point. And and if you understand swing points, the market always reverses from a swing point. So after taking this high and closing the way we closed, I was expecting the next candle to actually be bearish. Again, I'm looking for sells from the EQ of the previous day's candle. Going to our analysis on Wednesday, same thing as GU. From the EQ of the previous daily candle, I'm looking for a PDRA. So either an order block, which you can see, this is an opposing candle over here. So this was a nice order block. We also have this high, which was swept. Highs and lows are also PDRAs for me. So we swept that high. I was supposed to wait for a change in state again at this bottom, but I was pretty confident about this trade. So I ended up executing after this sweep, and we had this nice engulfing candle. This is where I took my trade, my stop loss above that point, and then I was targeting a 1 to 3. but there's also an SMT at this point with this high. So you can see if we go back to GU, let's go back to GU. So you can see this high took out the high of Asia, okay, during London, and you can see this one failed to take out. So I was pretty confident, and that SMT gave me that confidence to actually execute the sell. So after the market opened, because this is an SMT, I was considering this a valid change in state, and considering that GU has already manipulated, this was supposed to be a protected high for me. So the market was a bit rangy on this day. I think there was a bit of some news. So we didn't end up actually hitting TP. The market was playing around a lot. So I closed this trade at midnight, or at the close of New York session at I think 2R. And this is proof of the execution. Also the previous trade on GU, this is proof of execution where we entered and where we actually exited. So this is another trade on EU. This was Wednesday now, after Tuesday. This is where we executed on Wednesday. So now we are coming into Thursday. Again, you can see on Wednesday we didn't have that big expansive candle, but we had a bearish candle that actually closed below the previous day's low, which actually gave me the confidence that we might actually continue selling lower to potentially taking out this low, this daily low. So I was looking for sells from the EQ of this whole Wednesday's candle. Again, same thing. I'm looking for PDRs with from the EQ of the previous daily range. So we had this bearish fair value gap, this CB, that I was potentially anticipating that the market would come to that zone, but I also consider highs and lows as PDRs, or which can be session highs or lows. And in this case, in as much as it was a bit subtle, but there was a sweep of Asian range. And then we had a really nice change in state over here. So somewhere here there's supposed to be a CSD, but you can see because the sweep is very small, I'd want to be very careful with it, just in case we sweep, I enter the trade and then get swept a second time. So I waited for the market to close below this range, and this is where I executed with my stops above that high and targeted a 1 to 3. However, you can see this is the low that we were actually targeting, the daily low, this one over here. So at this point, I think I only had like a 1 point something risk to reward, which was not favorable for me. So what I did is I told the guys in the community that after we take out this low, we want to be break even on this trade, because there could be enough liquidity that after the sweep of this, we could actually continue higher. So my stops were break even at this point, and you can see the market really moved higher, but we actually survived the stop loss, also because of this order block over here, this series of up close candles that we closed below. So the most logical point to actually put my stop loss would have been slightly above this order block, which would have been safer to mean that we protected. But I had been in this trade for a while, and at the same, since before London session actually, or at the open of London session. So I did not want to risk the market coming and taking me out for a loss. I just wanted to protect my position. And you can see we actually survived this trade, and the market actually moved lower really nicely, and we were able to get taken out for the full take profit 3R. And this is the proof of the execution that we actually took this trade. So all these trades are actually 3R, most of them except the one EU that was 2R. So you can see that is already 8% in the week. So this was the last trade that we actually took. So this is the trade that we executed on Friday. That was NFP day. We had some trades we actually took on gold as well on Monday that were not included here, which were actually break-even trades. I may have forgotten to actually include them. But this was the trade that we had on Friday. I know a lot of people were actually looking for sells, but for me, my bias was bullish. And the reason is on the daily time frame, the market actually came lower to and mitigated this this BC, this buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. And you can see we closed with a really nice rejection candlestick after taking out the previous daily low. So for me, the high of Wednesday was a nice liquidity high that I could actually target, and also the all-time high. So looking at the EQ of this daily week, this is where I want to potentially be looking for trades. So coming to the 1 hour time frame, you can see after we had this sweep, which was a really nice sweep of Wednesday. Now on Thursday we swept that low, making Thursday the low of the week. Now what we had is something I called an ICCSD, an intracandle change in state, which is really nice. Coming to the next day, I want to see that the previous day actually confirmed the direction that I want to look at, and then I can just look for continuation trades, which actually safer. So initially, I wanted to look for trades from this order block down here, but sorry about that. But what we had was we had this really nice fair value gap, and you can see the market came lower, edged into this fair value gap, and we actually had a change in state over here. So meaning this series of down close candles is actually our order block, and we want to see this low being protected and the market not trade below it. So coming to the market around this time, what I should have done is waited for the market to actually change or shift or have a change in state above this order block over here, because this is a new day and you just want to confirm the daily week that this low over here, which we have, is actually protected, because now we have a change in state. But because we already had this order block that mitigated this fair value gap and the market closed above it with displacement and distance, I wanted to see this low. So I was more than happy to take this trade, more than happy to take this loss in case it turned out to be a loss. So I was more than happy to actually execute. And if I got taken out and we had another re-entry, I would have been more than happy to take the trade. You can see we played around a bit, and this was during NFP time that the market actually decided to trade higher. However, my target to hit the all-time high did not actually happen, and I did not want to hold the trade over the weekend, especially because with everything that is going on with Trump and all this geopolitical tension that is around. So I didn't want to hold a trade and have it gap below me. I know there's a probability that we also open higher, especially since gold has been really bullish. But I'd rather just close the position and reopen once I get new opportunities next week instead of risking. So this was a nice 2-hour trade, bringing the whole week's total risk to reward to around 10%. So this was actually enough to help me pass this account. This was funded next. This is two-phase challenge on funded next. So this was the phase 1, and you can see this is a 5 hours, not a 5 hours, a funding pips account. This is the student, this is the phase 1, and you can see already 4.7% up just this week. So I'm anticipating that next week will actually be a good week, and one good setup, I'll be able to pass the phase 2 and pass this phase 1 and now wait for phase 2, which is actually the whole plan, which would actually be nice. So tomorrow I'll be recording the weekly outlook for next week, and it will go live tomorrow in the evening. Sorry, this will actually be uploaded in the coming week. So every Sunday I actually do a weekly outlook where I do my projections or my predictions of what I'll be expecting with logic behind the trades and the market. So in case you'll be interested, there's a whole playlist that I'll be updating every single time. Check it out, and if you like the videos, please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions or recommendations or suggestions or just basically ideas of what you'd want me to do, let me know and I'll be sure to look at them.